The beloved 1971 classic Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory holds a special place in the hearts of generations. While the whimsical story and iconic characters continue to delight viewers, time has claimed many of the talented actors who brought this magical tale to life. In this article, we honor 35 cast members who have tragically passed away, reflecting on their memorable roles and the legacies they left behind. From the enchanting children to the charismatic factory workers, discover the stories of these stars beyond the chocolate river. Gene Wilder, who portrayed the eccentric and mysterious Willy Wonka in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, was 38 years old at the time of filming. Wilder's portrayal of the whimsical chocolatier, full of playful unpredictability, became an iconic part of cinema history, captivating audiences with his charm and complexity. Behind the scenes, Wilder's life was deeply affected by personal tragedy. His first marriage to actress Mary Mercier ended in divorce, but it was his second marriage to comedian Gilda Radner in 1984 that brought him joy and stability. Their love story was powerful, but it was tragically cut short when Radner succumbed to ovarian cancer in 1989. The loss of Radner left Wilder devastated, and he publicly spoke of the profound grief he experienced. Later in life, Wilder faced his own health struggles, particularly Alzheimer's disease, which gradually robbed him of his memories and independence. Despite these challenges, he continued to be remembered for his warmth, wit, and timeless performances. Wilder passed away on August 29, 2016, at 83, from complications related to Alzheimer's.
Oh, there, black and white, clear as crystal. You stole fizzy lifting drinks. You bumped into the ceiling, which now has to be washed and sterilized so you...
Roy Kinnear, who played the indulgent and oblivious Mr. Salt in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, was 37 years old when filming. Kinnear's portrayal of Mr. Salt, who would go to any lengths to please his spoiled daughter Veruca, left an indelible mark on the film. Off-screen, Kinnear's life was filled with a mixture of professional success and personal turmoil. Though he was known for his sense of humor and strong work ethic, his marriage to actress and writer Carmel Cryan was not without its challenges. The couple had children, but the demands of Kinnear's career often put a strain on their family life. Tragically, Kinnear's life ended abruptly in 1988 while filming The Return of the Musketeers in Spain. After falling from a horse during a scene, Kinnear suffered a heart attack and died on September 20, 1988, at the age of 54, a shock to his family, colleagues, and fans.
Butterscotch, butter gin. Got something going on the side of it.
Candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker.
Jack Albertson, who played the beloved Grandpa Joe in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, was 64 years old during the film's production. Albertson's portrayal of the kindly, childlike grandfather who embarks on the factory adventure with his family made him an enduring favorite among fans. His career spanned decades, with notable roles in both film and television, but his personal life was filled with both triumphs and struggles. Albertson married actress Dorothy in 1935, and together they had a family, though the pressures of his career sometimes strained their relationship. In the latter part of his life, Albertson faced the heartbreaking diagnosis of colon cancer. Despite undergoing treatment, his health continued to decline, and his condition became increasingly serious. Albertson's final years were filled with pain, but he continued to work until his condition made it impossible. He passed away on November 25, 1981, at 74, from complications related to the cancer.
Grandpa, that money was for tobacco.
I told you, Charlie, I've given it up. Go on, open it. One ticket left, now let's see some.
Leonard Stone, who was 48 when he portrayed the ambitious and proud Mr. Beauregard in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, brought a comic yet somewhat tragic edge to his role as a father desperate to showcase his daughter's achievements. Despite his memorable performance, Leonard's career was marked by ups and downs, with several years of financial instability. His personal life was no less turbulent. He endured a second marriage that ended in a painful divorce, followed by a series of unfulfilling relationships. Leonard's later years were filled with solitude, and he was estranged from many of his loved ones. He faced the slow decline of his health due to cancer, ultimately passing away on November 2, 2011, at the age of 87. His death was a somber end to a life that reflected both professional triumphs and personal hardship, leaving behind a legacy that was bittersweet.
Wonka, I use them myself. They're strictly for suckers.
Yes, but you wouldn't begrudge me a little protection. A drop.
I don't sign anything without my lawyer.
My Veruca don't sign anything on.
Nora Denny, who played the pragmatic Mrs. TV at 44 years old in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, portrayed a character constantly exasperated by her son Mike's obsession with television. Despite her solid performance, Nora's career was often defined by typecasting, leading to frustration and fewer roles. Her personal life was filled with struggles as well, marked by multiple failed marriages and battles with her own mental health. Nora's relationships with family members were strained, and she faced intense loneliness in her later years. She battled cancer for many years before succumbing to the disease on November 20, 2005, at the age of 78. Nora's death brought an end to a career that had once seemed full of promise but was ultimately overshadowed by personal tragedies, leaving behind a legacy marred by a life of emotional and physical suffering.
Loompas. From Loompaland.
Loompaland? There's no such place.
Excuse me, dear
Mr.
lady.
Wonka, I am a teacher of geography.
Oh, well, then you know all about it. And what a...
Denise Nickerson, who was only 14 when she portrayed the gum-chewing, competitive Violet Beauregarde in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, quickly became a standout in the film with her fiery, ambitious character. While Denise's early career appeared promising, it was marked by personal and professional struggles. Her work opportunities dwindled as she grew older, and she struggled with the pressures of Hollywood fame. Denise's love life mirrored her professional challenges, with multiple failed marriages and an emotional distance from her son. Her health also deteriorated over time, and she was plagued by strokes and seizures in her later years. Tragically, Denise passed away on July 10, 2019, at the age of 62, due to complications from pneumonia and a seizure. Her death was a tragic reminder of a life that, despite its early potential, was overshadowed by hardship and poor health.
Violet, what are you doing now? You're blowing up!
I feel funny.
I'm not surprised.
What's happening?
You're blowing up like a balloon!
Like a blueberry.
Somebody do something! Call
Ursula Reit, who portrayed the indulgent Mrs. Gloop in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, began filming in 1970 at the age of 57. Mrs. Gloop was a loving, though misguided, mother, always eager to satisfy her son Augustus's gluttony, which added humor to the film's tone. Ursula's career was largely confined to supporting roles, and she was often typecast in comedic parts that overshadowed her full acting potential. Despite her professional work, her personal life was marked by hardship, especially her marriage to a man with a volatile temper. The emotional toll from this troubled relationship led to an eventual divorce, and Ursula's life was consumed by financial struggles and isolation. She battled severe depression and struggled to maintain a connection with her children, who became distant as they grew older. Ursula passed away on November 9, 1998, at 84, from natural causes.
It comes out of a gun?
He's done! He'll be made into marshmallows in 5 seconds.
Impossible, my dear lady. That's absurd. Unthinkable.
Why?
Because that...
Diana Soul, who played the nurturing Mrs. Bucket in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, filmed her role at the age of 41 in 1971. Mrs. Bucket was a symbol of selfless love and devotion, always putting her family's well-being before her own, despite their difficult circumstances. Diana's own life mirrored this sacrifice, though in painful ways. Her first husband's sudden death left her to raise 2 children alone, a challenge that was compounded by her second marriage, which was filled with emotional neglect and abusive tendencies. Despite her loving nature on screen, Diana's own life became a battle against loneliness, and her relationship with her children became strained. In later years, she turned to alcohol to cope with her emotional pain, further deepening her isolation. Diana passed away on October 19, 2018, at 88, from natural causes.
Charlie,
There are 100 billion people in this world, and only 5 of them will find golden tickets. Even if you had a sack full of money, you probably wouldn't find one. And after
Gunter Meisner, who portrayed the sinister Mr. Slugworth in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, was 47 years old during filming. Known for his chilling portrayal of the character, Meisner's role added an element of suspense and mystery to the film. His career in both Europe and Hollywood was marked by success, but his personal life was a series of struggles. He married actress Ursula Meisner, but their relationship faced constant strain due to her mental health challenges and his frequent absences. The couple eventually divorced, and Meisner became more isolated in his later years. His health deteriorated as he battled heart problems, which affected both his career and quality of life. Despite these difficulties, Meisner continued to act until his health took a severe toll. He passed away on December 5, 1994, at the age of 68 from heart failure, a tragic end for an actor whose life was marred by both personal and physical hardships.
Done. You found the 5th golden ticket. May I introduce myself? Arthur Slugworth, president of Slugworth Chocolates Incorporated.
David Batley, who played the quirky Mr. Turkentine in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, was 36 when he filmed the movie in 1971. Mr. Turkentine was an eccentric and absent-minded schoolteacher, adding an element of chaos and comedy to the story. David's career, however, was marked by a series of underwhelming roles and typecasting, which prevented him from achieving significant fame despite his talent. His personal life was just as turbulent. His first marriage ended in heartbreak, with his wife leaving him after years of emotional strain. David remarried, but his second marriage was no more successful, and he became a deeply isolated figure. His emotional struggles were compounded by alcohol dependency, which took a toll on his health and career. As David distanced himself from his family and children, his mental and physical health deteriorated. He passed away on January 20, 2003, at the age of 67 from a heart attack, a tragic consequence of years of emotional pain and personal neglect.
Charlie, you take the nitric acid and the glycerine, and I'll take my own special mixture. You ready? Good lad, pour.
Peter Capel, who portrayed the enigmatic tinker in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, was 59 years old when filming began. Capel's character left a lasting impression on audiences, as the tinker offered cryptic warnings about the dangers of the chocolate factory. However, Capel's own life was much darker. His first marriage to actress Monica Capel ended in divorce due to his infidelities and her struggles with mental illness. Capel's personal demons didn't end with his first marriage, as he later became known for his battle with alcoholism, which deepened his isolation. He had a daughter, but his estranged relationship with his family left him emotionally distant from them. Capel's health continued to deteriorate as he faced physical and mental battles, and he ultimately passed away on March 3, 1986, at the age of 73. While the cause of death was never officially disclosed, rumors of an overdose or a sudden health decline circulated, adding to the tragic nature of his life.
Down the rushing glen, we dare not go a-hunting, for fear of little men. You see.
Victor Beaumont, who portrayed the doctor in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, at the age of 59, played a small yet essential role in the film, providing a grounded presence in a world full of whimsy. Despite his role in a beloved classic, Victor's career was not as prolific as one might expect. His later years were marked by struggles in the entertainment industry, as he was unable to secure significant roles after the film's release. Personal difficulties compounded his professional woes, including a troubled marriage and strained family relationships. Victor's marriage was fraught with emotional distance, and after several years, they divorced. His personal life continued to be a series of disappointments, culminating in financial strain. In his later years, Victor became reclusive, and his health deteriorated due to heart problems and aging. He passed away from a heart attack on March 21, 1977, at the age of 64.
I told you, Mr. Hofstadter, To believe in one's dreams is a manifestation of insanity, and the sooner you accept this, the sooner you'll get well.
But I dreamed the archangel appeared.
Werner Heijking, who played Mr. Jopeck in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, was 58 when filming began. His portrayal of the strict character added a sense of realism to the otherwise fantastical narrative. However, Heijking's personal life was marked by significant turmoil. His second marriage to Renata Heijking ended in divorce due to her struggles with depression and alcoholism. Despite their separation, the couple had one child, and the impact of their fractured family life was evident in Heijking's later years. As his career slowed, he was diagnosed with cancer in the early s, a diagnosis that cast a shadow over his remaining time. Heijking's health worsened quickly, and he passed away on October 10, 1974, at the age of 61 from cancer. His death marked the end of a career that had been overshadowed by personal suffering, leaving a legacy of both professional accomplishment and profound personal loss.
Hi, Mr. Jopeck.
Ah, come along, Charlie. You're late.
It's payday, Mr. Jopeck.
You're right.
Tim Brooke-Taylor, who was just 31 years old when he played the precise and efficient computer operator in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, gained fame for his portrayal of a character embodying the technological optimism of the time. Tim's career skyrocketed with various television appearances, but after the early years of success, he faced an increasing struggle to maintain relevance. His personal life mirrored his professional difficulties. Tim's marriages faced considerable strain, especially after the failure of his first marriage, which left him emotionally scarred. His later years saw him as a father trying to balance fame with the responsibilities of raising his children, yet the shadow of divorce and family tension never fully lifted. His once vibrant career faded as he struggled with depression and anxiety. The final blow came when Tim was diagnosed with COVID-19. He passed away on April 12, 2020, at the age of 79, a victim of the pandemic.
They say that your time and money have been well spent. We're about to witness the greatest miracle of the machine age, based on the revolutionary Computonian law of probability.
Stephen Dunn, who played Stanley Cale, the second newscaster, in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, was 53 years old when he filmed the movie in 1971. Stephen's career, however, was marred by a series of personal tragedies. Though he had a promising start, his career did not take off as he had hoped. The roles that came his way were often forgettable, and Stephen found himself relegated to minor roles throughout the remainder of his life. His personal life mirrored the struggles of his career, as Stephen's marriage crumbled after years of emotional neglect and infidelity. The dissolution of his marriage led to a strained relationship with his children, who grew distant from him in the years that followed. His emotional pain deepened with the loss of his beloved pet, a symbol of the loneliness he felt in his later years. On September 2, 1977, Stephen passed away at 59 years old from a heart attack.
5 lucky bolts of lightning ready to strike without notice at any point on the map. No one knew where, no one knew when the first one would hit. But as you all know, last night we got our answer.
Well, we had Kurt Grosskreutz played Mr. Gloop in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory at the age of 62 in 1971. His character was a proud and indulgent father, always eager to satisfy his son Augustus's enormous appetite. Grosskreutz was a popular figure in German cinema, appearing in light-hearted films such as The Merry Widow, 1952, and Lieselot von der Pfalz, 1966. Despite his jovial on-screen persona, Grosskreuz's personal life was marred by health struggles and marital issues. He married opera singer Ilse Grosskreutz, with whom he had a daughter, but their relationship was tumultuous, marked by frequent separations. In his later years, financial troubles and a waning career weighed heavily on him. On May 29, 1975, at the age of 66, he was tragically killed in a car accident, a sudden and devastating end to a man who brought joy to audiences.
First golden ticket finder.
Hungry.
Any other feelings?
Feel sorry for Wonka. It's gonna cost him a fortune in fudge.
Mr. Gloop, would you mind saying...
Mrs.
Michael Gar played the German reporter in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory in 1971 at the age of 32. His character had a minor yet impactful role, capturing the excitement of the golden ticket craze in Germany. Although Gar's acting career showed early promise, he struggled to break into mainstream cinema, appearing only in obscure European productions that failed to gain widespread recognition. His personal life was equally tumultuous. He married his high school sweetheart, Clara, but their marriage crumbled under financial pressure and his growing resentment toward the industry. They had one daughter, Anna, who grew distant as Gar battled depression and bouts of alcoholism. A devastating car accident in the late 1990s left him with chronic injuries and deepened his isolation. After years of physical and emotional decline, Michael Gar passed away on November 25, 2010, at the age of 70, leaving behind a legacy of unrealized dreams and personal hardship.
Today, right here in Düsseldorf, a community suddenly thrust into prominence by the unexpected discovery of the first Wonka golden ticket. Its lucky finder is the son of our most...
Pat Coombs played Henrietta Salt, the doting mother of Veruca Salt, in Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, 1971, at the age of 45. Her character epitomized parental indulgence, enabling Veruca's spoiled behavior. Coombs was a staple of British television comedy, often seen in shows such as The Benny Hill Show and Till Death Us Do Part. Despite her cheerful on-screen persona, Coombs faced loneliness in her personal life, never marrying or having children, a fact she admitted caused her great sorrow. Her later years were marked by declining health due to emphysema, which forced her to reduce her appearances and ultimately live in relative obscurity. Coombs passed away on May 25, 2002, at the age of 75 from complications related to the disease, leaving behind a legacy as one of Britain's beloved comedic actresses.
You promised, Daddy! You promised I'd have it the very first day!
You're going to be very unpopular around here, Henry, if you don't deliver soon.
It breaks my heart, Henrietta.
Franziska Liebling portrayed the loving Grandma Josephine in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory at the age of 72. Her character embodied warmth and resilience, offering Charlie wisdom and comfort despite their impoverished circumstances. A veteran actress in European theater, Franziska was revered for her powerful performances, yet she remained largely unknown to international audiences. Her personal life was fraught with heartache. She never married after losing her fiancé during World War II and lived a solitary life dedicated to her craft. She adopted a son, Lucas, but their relationship became strained due to her controlling nature and emotional distance. In her later years, Franziska suffered from arthritis, which left her unable to perform. Her declining health and loneliness cast a shadow over her final days. She passed away on January 3, 1993, at the age of 93 from natural causes, having spent her last years in quiet obscurity.
Happy birthday, Charlie!
Happy birthday! Here you are, Charlie.
Thank you.
Frank Delfino, who portrayed the British announcer in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, was 60 when he filmed his brief but memorable role. While his performance added a touch of British charm to the film, his career largely consisted of smaller, often uncredited roles that failed to gain significant recognition. Frank's personal life was complicated by the loss of close family members and a marriage that ended in separation. His later years were spent in relative obscurity, and his health began to decline in the 1990s after being diagnosed with bone marrow cancer. This cancer ultimately claimed his life on February 19, 1997, at the age of 86. Frank's passing, while quiet, marked the end of a life filled with unrealized dreams and personal loss, leaving a small legacy in film but a much larger story of life's struggles behind the scenes. Malcolm Dixon, who played an uncredited Oompa Loompa in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, was 37 years old when he filmed his scenes in 1971. Malcolm's career in film and television was marked by small, often uncredited roles, many of which saw him portraying quirky or comedic characters. Despite his efforts, he never achieved significant fame or recognition. In his personal life, Malcolm faced numerous struggles. He was married twice, and both marriages ended in bitter divorces, with his wives leaving him due to emotional neglect and his inability to connect with his children. As his career stagnated, Malcolm turned to alcoholism, further isolating him from family and friends. His emotional health deteriorated, and he became estranged from those he once loved. Malcolm's life was one of lost potential, as the hardships of his personal life overshadowed any joy he might have found in his work. He passed away on April 9, 2020, at the age of 85. Michael Goodliffe played the role of Mr. TV in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory in 1971 at the age of 57. His character was a practical and skeptical father, often questioning the whimsical wonders of the chocolate factory. Goodliffe had a distinguished career, appearing in classics such as A Night to Remember, 1958, and The Dam Busters, 1955. Despite his professional acclaim, he battled chronic depression throughout his life. He married actress Margaret Burbage, and they had 2 children. However, his mental health struggles created significant strain on his family relationships. In the years following the film, Goodliffe's condition worsened due to diminishing roles and financial difficulties. On March 20, 1976, at the age of 61, he tragically ended his life by jumping from a hospital window, leaving behind a legacy clouded by his inner torment. Walker Edmiston, who provided the voice for the sinister Mr. Slugworth in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, was 45 years old when he voiced the character in 1970. Walker's career as a voice actor was prolific, but it was never quite as rewarding as it could have been. Despite his talent and consistent work in television and film, he often found himself overlooked and underappreciated. His personal life was similarly marked by struggle. Walker had been married twice, with both marriages ending in painful divorces due to infidelity and emotional disconnection. His inability to form lasting, healthy relationships weighed heavily on him, and his relationship with his children suffered as a result. In his later years, Walker battled cancer, which only added to the emotional distress he had carried for much of his life. Walker passed away on February 15, 2007, at the age of 81 from cancer. Angelo Muscat portrayed one of the mischievous Oompa Loompa in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory in 1971 when he was 41. The Oompa Loompa were memorable for their whimsical antics and moralistic songs. Muscat had previously gained recognition as the loyal butler in The Prisoner, 1967. However, his fame did not shield him from personal hardship. Born with dwarfism, he faced discrimination and limited acting opportunities, often being typecast in roles that emphasized his height. Muscat never married and lived a solitary life, frequently expressing feelings of isolation and exclusion. As his acting prospects dwindled, he fell into financial hardship and battled health issues. On October 10, 1977, at the age of 47, he succumbed to pneumonia, a tragic and premature end for an actor who had fought against societal prejudice and loneliness. Peter Sallis appeared as the man in the street in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, at the age of 50. Though his role was minor, it added to the bustling atmosphere of the film's opening scenes. Sallis had a distinguished acting career, best known for his roles as Norman Clegg in Last of the Summer Wine and as the voice of Wallace in the Wallace and Gromit series, earning widespread acclaim. However, his personal life was less fortunate. His marriage to actress Elaine Usher was strained by his demanding career and long separations, ultimately ending in separation despite having one son, Chris Bean. In his later years, Sallis battled macular degeneration, which rendered him nearly blind, causing him to retreat from public life. Despite these challenges, he remained a cherished figure in the entertainment industry until his passing on June 2, 2017, at the age of 96 from natural causes. Ed Peck portrayed the authoritative FBI agent in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, at the age of 54 when filming began in 1970. His character brought a tone of bureaucratic seriousness to a whimsical plot, providing contrast to the eccentricity of the Chocolate Factory. Peck was a familiar face in television, often cast in roles as stern authority figures, appearing in series such as Happy Days, Star Trek, and the FBI. Despite his successful career, Peck faced personal struggles. His first marriage to Margaret ended after years of conflict over his erratic work schedule and financial instability. He later remarried but faced further difficulties as health issues, including diabetes and heart disease, plagued his later years. Isolated and weary, Peck became estranged from many of his former colleagues. He died of a heart attack on September 12, 1992, at the age of 75, alone in his Los Angeles apartment. Who is your favorite character in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? How do you feel knowing that the actors have passed away? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss future videos. Thank you so much.